can say who you are.
Right, my name's Steve Allerton. I work in Liverpool, but come from Wigan. So I'm not from Bradford. I'm being the voice of Tom Cullinan here, I think, because Tom would say, God is at work in death. And if we take death out of the what it is to be human, then we're really we're up the swan here. So could you comment a little bit on what you meant, what's behind you saying we take death out of it?
Yeah, sure. I guess maybe death is the wrong metaphor then. I think dying is normal, but I think having death brought upon you by external forces is not. That's killing. So maybe I mean murderous forces that work in communities. I can change that. But I think, so I guess what I was trying to get at was that it seems to me that where life-giving forces are at work in communities, we celebrate, amplify, extend. But in many of the communities, at least in Longsight and Levenshulme where I live, there are forces of death. I would say they're bringing death in an unhelpful, unholy, ungodly, untimely way, and that's murder. So maybe it's that I mean. But you know, the kinds of things that squish the life out of you. So it's not that you, the being, it's that it's happening to you. Your hope is going, your future is going, your health is going, and it's actually because of where you live, the structures around you, the systems that are doing this to you. So I think, so maybe I need to kind of think about how I use that more carefully. Because I agree, like death as Christians, death and resurrection is our hope. So yeah, thank you, that's really helpful comment. Yeah. I hope I clarified what I meant though. Okay.
Another comment?
Hello, Katja Jewel from North Wales. Just to say thank you so much. How beautiful. And your voice will be gorgeous on the CD, so I will listen over and over again. I had no idea that was Canadian, but I love it.
Most people don't.
I feel all the labels we put on other people, then maybe the first thing we have to do is take the labels from ourselves. We label ourselves, we heard this as wives, mothers, daughters, crafters, knitters, whatever we do, or insufficient or not good in so many things, that maybe to start loving ourselves and taking the labels away, that frees us to have open hands and open arms to reach out to others.
Yeah, knowing and being known. Yeah, lovely. Thank you.
Okay. One more in the middle there. She's coming round the other way.
Hello, Ian Smith. I'm a Scot, but I live in London. You were talking about God already being there, and sometimes you've got, in our context, we live in a place where there are quite a few Muslims we work with and do lots of different things with Muslims, and we've got to recognise that God is there with them, and we want to be Christians in that context, so that we're clearly revealing that God is with us as well as them. And that the way that we work together is not by trying to convert people to our view of God, but it's to work together because we both recognise that we're working in a space that God is present. And I'm not sure what my question is, but I just felt I needed to say that our context where we work, where we're not trying to bring people to Christianity, but trying to bring the whole of the community together in a way that makes the whole of God's world come into being properly. But I don't know.
That's really interesting. I mean, we could have lots of very rich conversations about interfaith engagement and those kinds of things. I don't think I was implying, was I? Let me think. Look, I think God is there in atheistic people too. So I think God is at work, and I guess for me, I'm distinctively Christian, and I don't want to set that to one side, and yet I want to honour very much what God is doing in the lives of the other who would not name Jesus as Lord. And so I am with you in saying, in actual fact, God is there in many ways, and I know that there are different tones and expressions to the way Christians live their lives in community. And so one of the things that we might need to do as we think about what it means to be church on the margin is the church on the margin would be how we engage with people who don't think that what you just said is true. And so I think that there are inter-church challenges as much as there are other challenges in how we see and perceive and recognize and name God as being at work in the beauty of the fabric of human existence. So yeah, that obviously bears a much longer conversation in some ways.
Okay. You remember when you were speaking, you used that phrase of being earthed. And my dad was an electrician, and I was the oldest in my family. And I think I was born with glasses on and got my head stuck in books. While the other brothers became engineers, I didn't become an electrical engineer. But what my father taught me from a young age when I first electrocuted myself was, lad, whatever you do, make sure everything's earthed. Because if it's not earthed, you'll damage yourself and do a lot of damage to other people.
Yeah.
And I thought it's a metaphor, being earthed.
Yeah, I tried to fix my dad's shears. He has electric shears and they were broken. So I tried to fix them the other week by putting connectors in with the electricity. And the first time I did it, it worked. And then I started using them and it stopped working. And I forgot to turn the switch off when I tried to fix it the second time. And I got a jolt that made the muscles in my arm twitch all day. So the earthing thing is quite huge.
Can we be an earth church? I think I've remembered rightly this one, and I must go and check it. The Jesuit Ignacio Ellacuria, who was also murdered, like Oscar Romero in El Salvador, and he said, one of the things he said was that we need as church to take the crucified people down from the cross and not contribute to nailing more up. But he also, I think, said that the opposite of remembering, as you said, is dismembering people.
That's right.
Dismembering.
Yeah.
And so to remember to put people back together again.
Yeah.
I was once asked to give a talk on has Justice and Peace got anything to do with the Mass, with the Eucharist? And I was trying to say, yes, the meal, but we don't do the washing of the feet or find a symbol of that in our culture enough. And at the end I said, and then we get to the end of the Mass and we say, let us go in peace to love and serve the Lord. There were bishops in the audience, a big argument. And I said, that means go back into your neighbourhood, introduce yourself to your neighbours, and if you don't do it before next Sunday, don't bother coming back. A bishop in the audience said, John Battle, it's disgraceful. You can't tell people not to come to that Mass next week. At the very least, you could tell them to come to confession on Saturday before. we move now to our liturgy. But Deirdre, can I say, what you've given us this afternoon are real depth questions. You used the phrase, kingdom conversations. I think you're leading us into kingdom conversations. I think we should continue to do that. Thank you so much for your time.